Hey guys, so this is day 5 of Inktober, and the prompt for day 5 is Blade. And when I saw the prompt list, like for the first time, when I saw the word Blade on it, I knew I wanted to make something related to the character Blade because Mahershala Ali is supposed to play Blade in. I'm not entirely sure whether it's going to be a movie or a show, but there is an MCU project that Mahershala Ali is playing Blade in, and that's his own project and all that. So I mean, it's a pretty exciting thing that I'm particularly looking forward to seeing because Mahershala Ali is one of the finest actors working today, and to actually see him pop up in the MCU genuinely just takes it up a notch because, and he's not just showing up for any random character or any re-envisioned character that they're going to introduce, right? It's for Blade. Blade is a big time Marvel character, and he may not be the most popular. A lot of people don't even know that Blade is a Marvel character, but Wesley Snipes' Blade was the first proper Marvel movie that like really blew up to the point where things started escalating for comic book movies as far as Marvel related media was concerned. And to see Blade make a comeback, especially with somebody like Mahershala Ali, it's genuinely, it's just something that is really, really, really exciting to think about. So I knew I want to do something Blade related. Again, what I'm doing right now, I have a picture of Mahershala Ali, right? And it's a very normal looking picture of him just standing there, but I wanted to re-envision that as Blade. So I'm just going over the basic contour lines of his body, figuring out the way everything would look and everything. I have heard a few people tell me over and over again that they think that tracing something is is cheating per se. But I feel like as long as you are transparent about the fact that there are parts of the drawing or the painting that you've made that have been specifically picked up from a picture like that, or you're transparent about the techniques you've used, I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with cheating, uh, quote unquote. Because look, I mean, as far as art is concerned, I don't specifically think it's cheating to trace something, right? It's not. And a lot of people would agree as well. A lot of professional commercial artists trace as well. For example, Drew Struzan, right? He's one of the most iconic poster artists of all time, right? And he traces his work, right? Like from pictures and everything. But then changes it to the point where it becomes its own thing. And that is essentially what I'm trying to do as well. So I don't particularly, number one, think there's anything wrong with the method that I and a lot of other people have employed because it gets fast results, it gets efficient, tidy results. It also ensures that the likeness of the actor is there. Obviously, I don't think this should become the norm because drawing freehand is very important. It allows you to learn, which is why I can draw freehand as well. There are a lot of other videos that I've done on the YouTube channel that show me drawing freehand. So I have my techniques in place. I can draw portraits freehand, but when it comes to saving time, when it comes to making sure that the work is tight and efficient and is delivered on the deadline that it's supposed to be delivered on, I do employ this method where I basically get the contour lines figured out and then I start going on top of that and then doing my own thing with it, which is essentially what I'm trying to do as well. Like, for example, his body, right? He's just wearing a simple sports coat with a t-shirt or a shirt underneath that, right? But the thing I ended up making is very different looking from that. I've got a shoulder pad with blades on it. I've got a sword on his back. I've got armor under his coat, and I've got a belt there. I've got the way his coat moves and flows is different. So it's not just a matter of mindlessly tracing. You need to know what you're doing, which is essentially my point. If you don't know what you're doing and you go ahead and just like start tracing things around, your work isn't going to look good. And I've seen a lot of people trace things. I've seen a lot of people, quote unquote, steal pictures and like draw on top of them. And I've seen a lot of those controversies and everything. And those are very viable things because when you're directly ripping off of a picture, right? That is something that's not particularly uh, efficient in the long run, whether it's professional use or personal use, right? So you need to know what you're doing. That's my entire point. You need to know why you're tracing the way you're tracing. You need to understand the fundamentals anyway, right? You need to figure out where uh, light and shadow applies the way it applies, like the fundamentals of that, and how shape language works, how um, you know line variation works, and all that. You need to have those fundamentals in place, which is essentially what I'm doing right now as well. Because the face I'm drawing right now, right? Uh, the left hand side is covered in shadow on the drawing that I'm making, but it's not actually like that in the original picture. So you need to have that uh, uh, mind frame in place where you know what you're doing. You make these well thought out decisions based on the skills you have, and those skills have to be developed over a period of time. You can't just like show up and be like, oh, I have this covered, I'm just gonna trace it and boom, I'll have a painting. You won't, and it's not really gonna look all that great either if you try and do it that way, right? So I'm mostly done with the line art for now. I've got the line variation in, I've got the basic, rendering and the texturing in. I've used a dry ink brush for this, which allows me to create this really lovely, worn out vintage look for the entire thing, which I'm honestly a really huge fan of, which is why I'm mostly trying to employ it in every piece I make. And I've been enjoying Inktober so much over the last however many days I've been doing this for consistently, because I honestly love the way an ink drawing looks. Like, I'm looking at this at the moment, just the black and white ink drawing of Blade, and I honestly love it, you know. And I'm just adding small details right now, figuring out the proportions and everything. And yeah, now what I went in with was just adding these red glasses, and I wanted it to have that really Sin City inspired look. But then I was like, all right, he's a vampire, right? He's a vampire hunter. I want his body to be covered with blood splatter, which again is Blade is a very hardcore character, right? So like he goes out, he fights these demons. He's got blood on his hands, got blood on his sword. It's everywhere. So I'm just like trying to figure out the blood splatter pattern at the moment. Like, for example, if somebody's standing in front of me and I cut them up, how would the blood like spray up on my body? And that's essentially what I'm trying to figure out as well. So this entire area gets covered up in blood, kind of oozes up on his glasses as well. There's a little bit of it on his lips. Again, what I want with the lips, okay, so blood doesn't necessarily always like splatter around like that and like go on the inside as well. So what I wanted to do was I wanted him to have that look here with the blood around his lips, because he has vampire fangs and he can just bite people if he wants to. And that's essentially what I wanted to do as well. So that's what I'm trying to figure out at the moment. Again, I go in, I use a chalk brush, and I add this entire darkened area on the left hand side, which gives it this really lovely texture that I'm a pretty huge fan of. And then I recolored that. Again, color balance is important. I am happy to be called the color balance guy if that's what it takes, but I am going to keep repeating in every video. I said this in the last one as well. Use color balance. Color balance allows you to have a really, really concise and harmonious looking painting, which is essentially what I've ended up with now. Blue undertone shadows, nice neon yellow slash greenish tint for the highlights. Red pops out. That's what color balance does. It makes everything look concise and well put together and thought out and stitched up nicely. Again, I add a texture to the typography behind him, get that done, and again I color correct it a little bit, and we are done with the painting. I add in a few minute details here and there, liquefy, figure out the proportions. Again, that's something that I've told you guys in every video that I've made so far. Use the liquify persona, flip your canvas horizontally and like figure out where the proportions are changing and then fix them. And then that is day 5 of Inktober. That's Blade. This was probably the this was probably one of the quickest ones I've made, because again, this was particularly easy and fun to make at the same time. So I think I did this whole thing in about 2 hours, including the colors and everything. So worked really fast on this. I just made this like an hour or two ago. So I got that done, and yeah, that's day 5. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Links for my socials will be in the description below. Again, uh, I would encourage all of you to please go and follow my Instagram. That's where I post my work first, uh, and that's where I use most of my free time updating people on my art as well. So please consider going and following my Instagram. I will keep updating that uh, from time to time. I also take polls and questions there. So please let me know if you want to see something specific. I'm not too strict with the prompt list. If I get enough requests for the same thing, I'll be happy to change one of the things that I'm drawing, one or two things, or however many requests I get for the prompt list, right? I'm happy to change that. And yeah, just go ahead, DM me if you want to see something specific. And let me know your Inktober stories in the comment box below. Let me know whether you've managed to get through all 31 days of Inktober, whether you've tried and you failed, whether you're trying again and you want to get things done this time. Just let me know any Inktober related stories you might have, whether it's related to a piece, whether it's related to Inktober in general. And yeah, just push yourself, create something new every day, experiment, and have fun with it. Have fun with Inktober, have fun with your art, and yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more of my work. Links to socials in the description, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks.